Welcome to your deep dive. We're diving into the world of murder mysteries today.
Oh, always a fun way to spend some time.
Right. And we've got a real treat, a YouTube video essay all about one reader's top 10 favorite murder mystery novels.
A peek into someone else's reading list. I love it.
Me too. It's like getting recommendations straight from the source.
Absolutely. Especially when they're as passionate as Meg with Books clearly is.
Exactly. And she jumps right in, mentioning this is her updated list for 2024.
Oh, a fresh take.
Right. And she makes it clear these are all 5-star reads for her.
So we're talking top-tier recommendations here.
Absolutely. But here's the kicker. She mainly reads murder mysteries.
So this isn't just a casual top 10 list. This is her area of expertise.
Exactly. It's like getting restaurant recommendations from a chef. They've tried it all.
I like the way you think. Okay, so where does she kick off this killer lineup?
Well, at number 10, we've got a classic,
Hit me with it.
Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile.
Ah, you can't go wrong with the Queen of Crime. Even if you haven't read it, you know the story.
Right. It's iconic. Murder, luxury, and the ever-so-charming Hercule Poirot.
Cruising down the Nile. What could go wrong? Well, besides everything, obviously.
And that's the beauty of it, right? But what I found interesting is Meg with Books admits the twist isn't what makes this one unforgettable.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what is it about Death on the Nile that keeps readers hooked?
She highlights the journey, that slow burn of suspense, the vivid setting.
It's about the atmosphere, the unraveling of the mystery.
Precisely. And she even draws a parallel to Agatha Christie's own life. Her travels, her archaeologist husband.
Adding that personal touch, that sense of authenticity.
Right. It's like she's saying, I've been there, seen that, which makes the story all the more compelling.
And speaking of compelling, there's a word she uses to describe it.
Camp. Camp! Like sleeping bags and tents.
Not quite. She means it in the best way possible. Those larger-than-life characters, the theatricality of it all.
I can see that. It's like a heightened reality, but in a way that just works for the genre.
Exactly. It's about embracing those tropes, but with a wink and a nod. It's supposed to be a little over the top, and that's part of the fun.
I'm sold. But let's see what other treasures await. Up next at number 9, True Crime Story by Joseph Knox.
Okay, this is a new one for me. Tell me more.
So, she calls this a fun read, which I always appreciate.
Who doesn't love a fun murder mystery? What's the premise?
Well, she dives into the format first, actually.
Oh, is this another one of those choose-your-own-adventure books?
Not quite. Think more along the lines of mixed media storytelling.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Right, we're talking interviews, emails, even the author himself popping up as a character.
Wow, blurring those lines between fiction and reality. That's a bold move.
And apparently, a successful one, she raves about how much she loved the audio version because it was full cast.
Okay, that makes sense, bringing those different voices to life.
Exactly. She even says having both the physical book and the audio book is ideal for the ultimate experience.
I can see why getting to see those artifacts, those emails, while you listen, that's immersive.
Right. And honestly, with how much we consume information these days, that blend of formats just feels very current.
I totally agree. Okay, Meg with Books is 2 for 2 so far. What's next on this wild ride?
Buckle up for number 8, One by One by Ruth Ware.
Ruth Ware, another heavyweight in the suspense game. She's got a knack for keeping readers on edge.
And Meg with Books agrees. She calls this one by One, her favorite Ruth Ware novel.
Oh, high praise. What is it about this one that sets it apart?
She uses an interesting phrase. She calls it the most Christie-inspired of Ware's books.
Ooh, now that piques my interest. We're talking Agatha Christie levels of intrigue.
It seems so. Picture this, a group of colleagues, an isolated ski lodge, a snowstorm raging outside.
Okay, you had me at isolated ski lodge. That's classic mystery territory right there.
Right, and just like that, the tension is amped up. We're in locked room territory, folks.
With a killer among them. No escape, nowhere to hide, except maybe behind a flimsy alibi.
Exactly. And of course, Meg with Books is sure to point out the presence of unlikable rich people.
Ugh, the classic formula. Gotta love it. There's just something so satisfying about watching those facades crumble.
Agreed, though she does mention that some readers weren't thrilled with this one when it first came out.
Oh, really? Why is that?
She doesn't dive into specifics, but she does come to its defense, calling it a clever nod to Agatha Christie.
Interesting. So maybe those who weren't as familiar with Christie's work didn't quite connect with it.
It's possible, or maybe they just don't share our fondness for watching terrible people get their comeuppance. But hey, to each their own right.
Right. All right, this Death on the Nile train has made another stop. What captivating read awaits us at number 7?
Get ready for a deep dive into The Mysterious Case of the Thelperton Angels by Janice Hallett.
Ooh, this one rings a bell. Didn't Meg with Books mention this author earlier?
She did. This one seems to be her top pick from Hallett's work.
So it's safe to assume we're in for another wild ride with this one.
You bet. It's a decades-old mystery surrounding the disappearance of a baby from a cult.
Okay, that's already got my attention. But we both know Meg with Books has a soft spot for a certain format. What's the delivery system here?
Oh, you better believe mixed media makes a grand return in this one. We're talking news clippings, interview transcripts, even forum posts from back in the day.
Wow, she wasn't kidding about that immersive experience. It's like stepping directly into the investigation.
Right, and she specifically points out that Hallett uses a wider array of formats in this one compared to her other books.
Oh, so she's really upping her game, pushing those creative boundaries.
Exactly. It's like she took the feedback to heart and just went all out with this one.
I love that. Always experimenting, always refining. Okay, so we've got a compelling mystery and an innovative format. Anything else she highlights?
She emphasizes the importance of pacing with this one, savoring those clues and letting the twists unfold naturally.
It's like she's giving us permission to get lost in the story, to really immerse ourselves in that world.
Exactly. No skipping ahead, no skimming aloud. This is a story meant to be savored.
Duly noted. Okay, from a seasoned author to a newcomer on the scene, what's up next?
At number 6, we're diving into the world of YA mystery with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson.
A YA mystery snagging a spot in the top 10. Now that's saying something.
Right. The title alone is intriguing. It feels like it's playing with those classic tropes, but with a modern twist.
So what's the story here? Give me the rundown.
Okay, so we meet Pip, our protagonist, who's basically a high school student with a passion for true crime.
I see where this is going.
Yeah.
Our heroine has a knack for solving mysteries.
Exactly. And she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. She stumbles upon a local cold case, a disappearance that's haunted the town for years.
Oh, small town secrets and a determined teenager, what could go wrong?
Well, that's what Pip's about to find out. Everyone else believes the case is closed, but Pip's not convinced.
I can already tell I'm gonna love her. She sounds like a young Veronica Mars, ready to take on the world one clue at a time.
And of course, Meg with Books wouldn't miss the opportunity to point out the format. Mixed media alert. This one has it too.
No surprise there. She's clearly hooked on that style. Yeah. But wait, there's more. She throws in a little comment about hating the TV adaptation, though she doesn't go into details.
Oh, that's got a sting for the showrunners. The author, Holly Jackson, is probably avoiding the internet right now.
Right. Talk about a mixed bag of emotions. Your book gets adapted, which is amazing, but then it doesn't quite hit the mark. It happens.
It's a good reminder that what works in one medium doesn't always translate perfectly to another. Right, moving on to number 5, we have The Guest List by Lucy Foley. And it seems time might have dimmed its sparkle a tad for our resident mystery aficionado.
Really? Tell me more. Did it not age well, or have her tastes just evolved?
A bit of both, maybe. She admits it slipped a bit in her rankings since she first read it. But don't get me wrong, she still enjoys it. The setting alone is classic Foley. A remote island, a lavish wedding, a storm brewing, secret simmering.
And you just know someone's about to kick the bucket? It's practically a checklist for a locked-room mystery.
Right, it's like the Clue Mansion got a glamorous upgrade. And of course, Meg with Books points out the presence of those oh-so-delectable, unlikable rich people.
Because who doesn't love a good dose of schadenfreude, especially when it's served with a side of murder mystery? It's practically a literary staple at this point.
Totally agree. But hold on to your hats, folks, because number 4 throws us a bit of a curveball. This is where things get really interesting.
A curveball, you say? Now you've piqued my curiosity. Do tell.
Okay, so this one is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. And Meg with Books admits it bends the traditional mystery rules.
Oh, a rule breaker. I'm always here for those.
Yeah.
But in a good way, I hope.
In the best way possible. She calls it, and I quote, sheer brilliance. And get this, the story starts with a mother witnessing her son commit murder. Talk about starting with a bang.
Whoa. Okay, that's dark, but where does the bending the rules part come in?
Well, she gets trapped in a time loop, reliving the same day over and over again. But here's the catch. Each time she wakes up, it's a day earlier.
Hold on. So it's like Groundhog Day meets a courtroom drama.
More like Groundhog Day meets CSI. She's not just reliving the same day, she's trying to prevent the murder from happening in the first place.
Okay, that is brilliant. So we're talking high-stakes suspense, a race against time, and a mother's love on the line.
All wrapped up in a mind-bending time loop. No wonder Meg with Books couldn't resist giving this one a top spot. It ticks all the boxes: originality, emotional depth, and a healthy dose of, wait, what just happened?
Adding it to my reading list as we speak. This is why I love these deep dives, always uncovering hidden gems. Speaking of gems, let's move on to a series that holds a special place in Meg with Books' heart. The Lady Hardcastle Mysteries. Cozy mysteries are having a moment, and this series seems to be leading the charge.
They really are. And for good reason sometimes. You just need a comforting escape with a dash of intrigue, and that's exactly what this series delivers. It's set in Edwardian England, and we follow Lady Hardcastle and her maid, Florence, as they solve crimes in their seemingly idyllic village.
It sounds utterly charming, like a warm cup of tea on a rainy afternoon, but with a side of sleuthing. No wonder these books have become her go-to palate cleansers.
Right. Sometimes you need a break from the heavy stuff, the psychological thrillers, and just lose yourself in a world of quirky villagers and charming mysteries. And she highly recommends the audiobooks for this one.
Oh, a good audiobook can really make a series. It's like having a personal narrator, bringing those characters and settings to life.
Absolutely. Okay, folks, we're in the home stretch now. Coming in at number 2, we have another Agatha Christie masterpiece, Murder on the Orient Express.
A true classic. It's like the blueprint for locked room mysteries. And you can't go wrong with Hercule Poirot on the case.
Right, and Meg with Books considers this her favorite Christie. So far, that is. She's making her way through the Poirot novels chronologically and plans to revisit this one once she's done. Though she does issue a warning, it's a polarizing read.
That tracks. Murder on the Orient Express is all about the journey. It's methodical, detail-oriented, with Poirot slowly but surely unraveling the truth through a series of interviews and observations.
Exactly. And some readers live for that kind of meticulous deduction. Others, maybe not so much. But clearly, Meg with Books is here for it, which begs the question, what could possibly top the Queen of Crime herself?
The suspense is killing me. Don't hold out on us any longer. What's the number 1 pick?
Drumroll, please. Taking the top spot is none other than Richard Osman's Thursday Murder Club series.
I knew it. This series has taken the world by storm, and for good reason. It's heartwarming, witty, and full of twists and turns. What's not to love? But it's more than just a murder mystery, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about those unexpected friendships, those moments of joy and connection, even in the face of aging and, well, murder. Meg with Books calls out the 4th book in particular, saying it made her cry more than any book she can remember.
Now that's an endorsement. It speaks to the emotional depth of the series. These aren't just cardboard cutouts solving crimes. These are characters you genuinely care about.
Absolutely. She mentions that the 1st and 4th books are her favorites currently, but she's due for a reread of the 2nd and 3rd. Which makes sense sometimes. You need that refresher to fully appreciate how the characters and storylines evolve over time.
Especially with a new installment on the horizon, as it is with this series. It's like Meg with Books is getting ahead of the game, prepping for the next chapter in the Thursday Murder Club saga.
And who knows, maybe it'll even snag the top spot on her next top 10 list. But one thing's for sure, Meg with Books has given us a fantastic starting point for exploring the vast and varied world of murder mysteries.
She has. From the twisty and complex to the cozy and comforting, there's truly something out there for every reader. And the best part, it's a genre that's constantly evolving, with new voices and fresh perspectives emerging all the time.
Exactly. So whether you're a seasoned crime fiction aficionado or a curious newcomer, I think we can all agree, there's nothing quite like curling up with a good murder mystery. The only question is, where will you start?
And that, my friends, is the million-dollar question. But fear not, we've got plenty of recommendations to tide you over. And who knows, maybe your next favorite mystery is just a page turn away. So go forth, intrepid readers, and let the sleuthing begin.
And be sure to let us know which mysteries have captured your imagination. Head over to our social media pages and share your thoughts. Who knows, maybe your favorites will inspire our next deep dive. Until then, happy reading!